pleasure, honor, and privilege, I, Dr. Debatosh Guha, will be hosting today's L4 session. L4 being like Learn from Leader and Learn from Legend, one of the flagship webinar events series, which has been organized by Kerala, IEEE MTTS Kerala for the past 1 year. And this webinar series today is very special to us, very close to our heart, because we have our very own Professor Debatosh Guha from Institute of Radio Physics and Electronics, and he needs no special introduction because he's always everyone. I mean, around us, present here in this webinar is well aware of who Sir is, and so I'm very happy today that I have got this occasion to host Sir. And before we start, let me announce the housekeeping things. We should keep your audio and video muted during the entire session, and the session will be open for any interactions and questions. And you can turn on your mic and interact with the speaker after his lecture, after his talk. And now let me welcome our very own Professor Debatosh Guha, sir, the speaker of the evening today. Dr. Mini Ulanath, Chairman, IEEE Kerala Section, Professor Jawad Siddiqui, IEEE APS Site Chair, and Dr. Chinmoy Saha, IEEE APS Art and Coordinator, who will chair and moderate the sessions. And now I request Dr. Mini Ulanath to formally inaugurate the function and welcome the speaker and gathering. Over to you, ma'am.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Dr. Debradi. At the outset, let me extend my sincere thanks for inviting me also to be a part of this learned conversations that you have been having for a long time. L4, which is learn from leaders and learn from legends. It is an excellent concept. Hello, I think there is some crosstalk coming over.
Yeah, please continue. I am trying to figure it out. Yeah.
Okay, no problem, no problem. Thank you, Dr. Debatosh Guha. In fact, when I went through your bio, such an accomplished professional, extremely thankful to Dr. Debatosh Guha in associating with Kerala section. I would like to just share two lines about the section. You must be knowing Kerala is the largest section as on the day in terms of membership as well as in terms of the number of events. Thanks to all the societies, including APS, which is one of our very, very active society. Thanks to Dr. Saha, Dr. Deepthi, Dr. Anandan. They have been driving this wonderfully well. So let us join hands in continuing the activities. Hello, Dr. Siddiqui. Nice having been associating with us. So I think this is a homecoming. Look like everybody is known to each other. And let me just extend my sincere wishes. I think there is no point in inaugurating because this is such a wonderful event that has been happening. But anyway, happy to be a part of the inaugural event of 2022. And let us hope that this will continue with all the support from the section and looking forward for very fruitful interaction. Once again, thanks Dr. Debatosh Guha for associating with us. Thank you very much and do passing over for the next procedures. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So now we start our L4 session in conversation with Professor Debatosh Guha, an interactive session with the legend on research, teaching, and leadership. Now I hand over the session to Professor Jawad Siddiqui and Dr. Chinmoy Saha. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Ganguly. So as you know that we are here to listen to or have a conversation with Professor Debatosh Guha, who is known to us all, a very beloved professor. And to me, of course, we have known him since the last millennium. So it has been a long association. And I welcome you all the guests and all the participants who are here to listen to this L4 series. It's an interactive series and a session that we'll be having a conversation with Professor Guha. On a personal level, as I said, I've known him for last more than 24 years. And as you know, that he has been now on ballot on the IEEE Antenna Propagation Society AdCom election as a candidate from Region 10. The AdCom selection to be on a ballot itself is a huge accomplishment. You have global nominations from all over the world, and it's selected by a team of ex-APS presidents just before the summer AdCom meeting, and they select candidates who would be on the ballot, which itself is an accomplishment. And I extend my sincere congratulations and our best wishes to Professor Guha. And it's really a matter of pride and privilege that we have somebody from India who will be representing on the ballot, and we all hope that he wins this election and take forward the mission and vision that the position statement that he has stated in his ballot, and maybe we will see more glories. As we know that Professor Guha, he's a fellow of IEEE, and he has started the AP Kolkata chapter in 2004. So since this is an interactive session, we'll be listening more from him, and we'll be having a question and answer session. Me and along with Dr. Saha, who will be conducting this session, and I would not like to steal his thunder, so we'll be interacting with him, posing questions, and we'll be learning from his experience that he has gathered, and he'll be enlightening us throughout this session. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Saha.
Yeah, I just want to add a few points. This is a kind of informal session. I can say this is like an evening get-together or evening adda with our very own self. Whatever I am telling, it is coming from the very core of my heart. And when we introduced this session, the L4, the Learn from Leaders and Learn from Legends during the pandemic, the motivation was basically to bring some seasoned researchers, real leaders, real stalwarts who have contributed immensely, technically, academically, from industry standpoint, as well as from IEEE leadership aspects. So needless to mention, as Professor Siddiqui already summarized, Professor Siddiqui is a real L4, a real legend. We are really proud to have a mentor, a visionary, a guide, an institute builder, a team builder like Professor Guha as different phases of our career. If I want to speak about him, I can probably take hours, because I was probably one of the luckiest person to spend huge amount of time in different kind of activities, academic activities, as a student in his class, in different forum, in IEEE activities, in different kind of new initiatives. I was probably one of the luckiest, and probably some of my peers used to be a little envious about that. But I don't want to go in that part, because we want to hear the legends today. And, as Professor Siddiqui mentioned, he has been a visionary, and I believe he is yet to reach to the zenith of his career. So he is in the AdCom. He is a person who can be the president of the society and lead the Antenna Propagation Society from the front. He has conceptualized and conceived various initiatives through his research, through his leadership, through his IEEE activities, etc. Probably through our interaction, we learn and try to, rewind some of the memories, because many of the audience are aware of his contribution in different ways. But as a custom, before we make it interactive session, I request our MTT-S Kerala chapter, Dr. Apren, to say few words very briefly. Dr. Apren, please.
Okay, thanks to Professor Saha. Welcome to this evening session. And welcome to our legend, Professor Guha. Only 2 sentences I want to tell. It is a blessing for all of us here. And we are eager to listen from you the more about the IEEE and future activities. And you are going to lead the Antenna and Propagation Society. So that way we are going to immensely benefit from you. So once again, I welcome to you this listen talk, and this is more of interactive. That is the advantage of this talk. So thanks a lot, Professor Guha. Once again, I welcome to this session. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Apren. We have many people from our IEEE network, from our friend network. Many of the people connected are SAR's own students, including me. I see many of the people, most of the people I know. So we'll have the interactive session first, which is a kind of, we'll frame the question so that we can hear about his experience, about his journey, a long journey over almost 3 decades. And our interaction starts now. Before that, I request Professor Guha to have some introductory comments and some thoughts on this event. Over to you, sir.
Chinmoy, Jawad, IEEE Kerala section leaders, my friends, and I'm really feeling a bit embarrassed to hear all these words, your expressions, but I don't deserve all this thing. Absolutely not. But I think it is the best forum when you have arranged this one. Thank you, Chinmoy, to take this initiative. And you have been trying for a long time, but I always try to stop you because I don't consider any of L you mentioned in your series of 4 Ls. Rather, to me, it is kind of T20. Why I'm telling you? So from that perspective, it is important to me. T20 means it is transformation over last 20 years. I remember that it was 2002. Now it is 2022. So that was the journey, that was the starting of new initiatives, new thoughts. And that came automatic. It was not anything planned, anything very special of this. And over the last 2 decades, that is 20 years of time, world has changed, society has changed, outlook of IEEE, span of IEEE, our own need, own achievements, everything has taken different shapes, different views. So when you told me to have this opportunity to share this platform, to share my some thoughts and views, I agreed. Otherwise, it is a bit embarrassing to stand with the tag of Ls or 4 Ls. I don't deserve all this thing. And I'm coming to Kerala, on Kerala section and chapter. You may be new, but Kerala has a long heritage of nurturing electromagnetics. And Kerala was the place in Cochin University, QSAT, was the place of our meeting when nothing was in and around to share, to speak about our electromagnetics, antennas, or microwave engineering in a year or in 2 years time. So it was EPISIM or APSIM, and that was the only conference that time, and we came across many stalwarts that is on your land, that is in Cochin. So thank you all for sparing time in the evening or late afternoon of a Saturday. So Chinmoy?
Yeah, sir. Thank you very much.
Over to you.
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you very much for your introductory comments.
I am trying to adjust my camera. Actually, I cannot.
Please.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, as always, you are looking.
I cannot see. I'm just trying to do.
Yeah, yes, sir. We can see you.
I'm trying to do anyway. So Chinmoy, if you have any question, and I'm very, very excited to see my senior friends like Dr. DC Pandey and KP, I already talked to him. Professor Anandan, I saw his name, but all names are not on one screen, so I may be missing few. Anyway, so I'm very happy to see all of you.
Yeah.
Yes, Chinmoy.
Sir, you mentioned that you don't consider yourself as
no. It is not my just the humble expression. It is my real belief that I don't deserve any of the sales.
Yeah, sir. Humility or humbleness is one of the features or hallmark of L4, people. So we consider, the community considers you are a leader and legend that our country has produced. So we'll maybe debate on this in offline sometime later on, not now. So now we'll start our interactive session. So I would request you to say a few words about your early career, about your journey, about your early career research and joining to the most prestigious Institute of Radio Physics and Electronics in mid-90s. So please tell about your journey and trajectory, sir.
It is very, very long story. So it is very personal. So should I share all these things?
Of course, sir. The community, the young students, young researchers, they want to know. They will be immensely benefited from your journey, from your experience. And of course, you are an example, sir.
Where to start? It is very, very difficult to initiate starting. Better I come to one point that when I completed my PhD, from that point I start. It was very difficult time for every researcher when you complete our PhD, then what to do. I, from the very beginning, opted for teaching, and that's why I came to research and then teaching. When I came to research, one offer came to me first. That was, I remember, in 1991 from IIT Kharagpur to join as a faculty member, as an ad hoc appointment, and then it will be regularized. The then director, he promised. I did not consider it as a good opportunity because I came to do research. So my first intention was to have my PhD degree and to learn something before I teach someone. So I immediately decided not to go to teaching immediately. So when I completed it, I parallelly had two offers, one from the University of Calcutta, my own institute, Radio Physics and Electronics, and one parallel offer from IIT Kharagpur, join as faculty member. And today it is difficult to believe that radio physics in 1980s, 1970s it was of different stature. It was, you cannot believe today. In this country, when anyone talks about electronics, electromagnetics, then the first name came to their mind, that is Institute of Radio Physics and Electronics. Moreover, we are Bengali, so we are always a bit shaky and homebound. So I preferred to be with University of Calcutta, and that I started in 1994. But the problem started from that, what to do, what kind of research I need to continue. And some of you might have heard or could follow my earlier publications. During my PhD time, all my publications were on microwave circuits, passive circuits. And I completed probably 5 or 6 papers in MTT, Microwave Theory and Techniques Transactions. After completing PhD, I continued my work with my students. And Arijit was one of them. That time, Arijit Majumdar. Is Arijit in this audience? I don't know. I found one name, Arijit. So anyway, but within a few years, 1996, August, I had one opportunity to visit abroad to France to receive one international award. The award and my travel, everything was covered by URSI, RC Young Scientist Award. To present my paper, that was not too exciting, but real exciting was to meet one real AL in your language. That is a legendary scientist, Tatsuo Ito. He was Commission D chair, but you don't think that world was so easy that time. There was no internet, nothing. So I just got his name from the participants list in printed form. And that was a long story how I could manage to contact him. So through kind of pigeonhole, like post office type of arrangement. Nearly 3,000 participants in one place. So it is difficult to figure out how to contact X to Y or Y to Z. Very difficult. So somehow I got his response in the conference venue itself, and he gave me time for 5 minutes. I was very excited, and I was ready to talk to him at least 10 minutes before he arrived at that point. And he gave me time during walking from one building to another building, or from one room to another room, because he had no time to talk. He listened to me and told me that, Debatosh, you need to change the topic of your research, because you'll have to survive in this world for next 30, 40 years. I asked that what would be the good topic. He told that you go through one article I have written in a book that published this year by RC. So you just go through this article. I did not know anything about the topic, anything. So I searched the topic and I saw it was active antenna. A very voluminous article. Anyway, it was the September 1996. I came back and started reading what is active antenna. Then I found it is actually, the active is the secondary term. I need to know what is antenna first. Then I found it is basically microstrip antenna. What is microstrip antenna? So I started to dig out the theory first. So that is the starting point. So 96, 97, 98, 99. In 2000, so all 4 years I gave to read extensively, collect all information, and you don't think that it was possible by searching, all by struggling with the hard copies. The soft copy business, explore, idea, all came much later. And Jawad can tell more precisely because his papers, when was submitted, probably it was the second or third paper we submitted online, but first 2 or 3, all were hard copy based. So in 2000, first I wrote one full paper based on my 4 or 5 years understanding and struggling with the subject. And I found one thing was missing in antenna community. And I wrote that article, and that was published in 2021 January. And the hard copy of the transactions first came to me before Puja vacation, that is like it is September and October. And surprisingly, during October, probably either September or October 2001, I received the hard copy, and at the same time I received one letter. That is the air mail, you might remember, the air mail with blue and red design on top. On the left side, it was written Raj Mitra. I was surprised because Raj Mitra is another legendary figure. You should know that Raj Mitra was the PhD supervisor of Tatsuo Ito. And Raj Mitra, one very eminent alumnus of our institute, Institute of Radio Physics and Electronics. So he wrote one letter to me that, Debatosh, I have read your paper with interest that is published in AP Transactions. So I have a plan to visit India and drop by at Calcutta to meet you. That was a very pleasant surprise to me, a moment of pride. And I arranged his visit in University of Calcutta. And that is my first interaction with him. And I realized that what I wrote, what I derived, the community, the antenna community might have accepted with some significance, but I was not very, very confident. But I was working alone. There was no student. It was different time because the students are mostly involved, attracted in very high salaried job that time. And I was fortunate to have one PhD student almost just after publishing my first paper. Java joined, and he started working on that. And I come to Chinmoy, am I taking much longer time? So I want to finish this part very quickly.
No, sir, please take your time.
So when Jawad came, I told Jawad that, Jawad, the real problem in active antenna I found, and we need to address that one. What's that? That problem I found from a group of people who they were working at College Station University. It is which university at College Station?
Mississippi.
No.
Sorry.
Kai Chang and his group was working. It is I got it in Texas. Anyway, Kaichiang, Navarro, Java, that group, they're working. And I found that every time they were standardizing this antenna through measurement. So I told Java, this is the thing that they have no theory. And I forgot that that time there was no HFSS. So anything we need to do, we'll have to do experiment and do theory parallelly. So we started working on the inverted microstrip and its theory, etc. So gradually we completed this part and published. Still, we were not confident enough that what we did were really valuable or not. So suddenly I received one email. By the time email was very standard from one Canadian industry R&D that we want to use your structure and can you share your software so that we can use it for our design. That means the code we developed based on our theory. So we shared the whole code. The next mail came to us that yeah, your code is fine, but it is difficult to manage from our side because we are not used to putting the parameters. Rather, why don't you give us the full design? So they gave the specification and we did this design. The challenge starting came from that point, that the whole design is built based on our theory. We did our theory, we did our experiment. The experiment was in our hand. So sometimes we adjusted this thing, that thing. So by this way, we tested it. But now I'm going my design to one industry and industry will build it and fabricate it. And then they'll go for measurement as per our specification. So it was very challenging and suspense to us. So we did this thing. But finally, it was designed for 1.9 gigahertz. But when they completed this experiment, they gave their very happy feedback that the antenna resonated at 1.87 gigahertz. So that is very important point I should mention to all researchers, particularly young researchers. That until and unless we get feedback from others in any form, it is difficult to understand that our work is really worth, useful, and technologically sound. So that confidence, that feedback is very important. And fortunately, I or our group, so I should not, if I sometimes mention I, it actually means we, because my complete existence in 2022 is not based on I only. A big group of very dedicated students and scientists or researchers, they have been with me since 2001. Sorry, 2001. So from that point, it's the existence is based on this whole group. So we are fortunate. We gave multiple cross-check points, feedbacks from top R&D industries, not only from US or Europe, also from our own country. So that gave me very, sorry, just a minute. Yeah, I am in web seminar. I'll talk to you after that. Okay. So from that point, I am fortunate, or we are fortunate that we had this opportunity to get feedback and confidence on our developments and technical works. So Chinmoy, I took long time.
No, sir. Yeah, this is what we want to hear. Some of us might be aware of, but the youngsters, the young researchers, because I consider myself as mid-career now. So we have Professor Siddiqui, who, as you mentioned, is your first PhD student, and he has spent a lot of time in different capacity with you. So I would request him to take care of the next part. Next question.
Thank you so much, Chinmoy. And yes, sir. I mean, I'd like the audience to know that those were the times when there was no HFSS, there's no simulator in our lab at least, or in our institute at least. And the code that Professor Guha developed was on Fortran 77, and that was the code that I worked extended for the work of the inverted microstream antenna. So it was all indigenously developed code, and the validation was important. So the code and the result we got obtained from the code was validated with the measured results that were done by other researchers. And of course, we had a VNA 8720C that was used to fabricate our own antennas and measure our own antennas. In this context, I'd like the audience to know that when I joined Professor Guha, I had no clue about what an antenna is. I had no clue. I just followed him like like whatever he said, I used to follow those instructions. And then, that developed everything slowly and building in the last 20 years. Then so Skip, started with microstrip, then he moved on to DRE, and we'll listen more about those things now. I have a question for Professor Guha. Like in 2004, right now, as I see when I see the APS membership worldwide, 10% of those members are from India. And if you share your thoughts when you formed the first APS chapter, and that basically dwelled on your visit to the US in 2002, and the visit and the invitation from University of Houston on the invitation from Jevin Jackson, that would be very enlightening for the audience.
Yeah, over to the first AP chapter in India. Yes.
That's the good point, Jawad. So that I mentioned that 2002 is a very remarkable year in my life. It was in San Antonio. The APS 2002. It was organized in San Antonio, and as a university teacher, it was very difficult for me to travel because there was no funding that time. Registration was very high, travel. But fortunately, one of my school friends, that is school-less friends, a very, very intimate friend from my school, he was in Baylor College of Medicine at Houston. So when I wrote to him that how far is San Antonio from Houston, then he told, don't worry how far, where it is. You just come to Houston first, and the rest of the arrangements will be done by me. You just come. You just buy your ticket. You need only the ticket. The rest is my responsibility. So it was very, very lucrative, and rather it is very passionate call from him. So I decided to go. And Jawad also inspired me that, sir, you should go right now, because it is the time. Once you go out, you will find many opportunities. And that was 100% true. But what happened, we had 3 papers with Jawad, myself and Jawad. And I found all 3 papers, they're distributed in 3 different sessions. And in each session, our paper, our presentation was scheduled at the bottom of the list. So it cannot be accidental. It is always very surprising that why we are at the bottom. Then they told, well, yeah, you are from India. Those days, it was not like the check that you'll have to register, then your name will go. No. Either you register or you don't register. Once the paper is accepted, it is going to the digest. And I remember this digest was 3-volume digest I had to carry from San Antonio. It's a huge volume, at least 5 to 6 kilogram weight for the whole volume. Anyway, so our name was there, so it was fine. But in the registration, on the registration desk, I met one young professor, and he was David Jackson. I knew him as the registration chair. So only my interest was to reduce the cost of my registration. I had no other intention, no other information about him that time. But by this way, we became friends. And at the last day of the conference, we are using the same elevator lift. Professor Jackson asked me, Debatosh, so are you going back to India just after it is over? I don't know. Then I'm going back to Houston. I'll stay with my friends for next 3-4 days. Oh, really? You're going back to Houston? So why don't you visit my department on Monday, next Monday? Probably we are talking in one Friday, so next Monday. Well, I can come. So I'll tell my friend, and he will drop me. Well, okay, if there is it is a problem, I can pick him up. No. So he has card, so he will drop me. So if you come, then why don't you give one technical talk? Okay. I was not prepared. I had no material with me. But I accepted his invitation because it was an opportunity to me. And I was at that time below 40. And David was around 50 or below 50. So like that. I accepted it, but I found problem in compiling the presentation because I had only three, 4 sets of slides that time. And that is my beginning of my career. So there's no question of additional information or slide, whatever it be. Anyway, so on Monday morning, I reached on time. I walked in his chamber. He told me that, well, we'll go to the printing room and I'll pick up some notice. Okay. So do you want to come? I followed him. He took 2 pieces of paper and there was written one notification. The notification was that the seminar talk will be given by Debatosh Guha, this and that, and this is arranged by IEEE AP Antennas and Propagation Chapter, AP Society Chapter. Then I asked, what is this? I don't know APS chapter. I know about section, but what is this? Then he explained that this is called chapter and how it is to be formed, what its advantages, etc., etc. I was really excited. And that night, I really was so excited I could not sleep. I thought that, well, so this is the good opportunity for us in India. If we have one chapter, then we can have one AP platform. And by this way, we can have one good network. And we can think of having our own conference, IEEE conference in our domain. So that's the beginning of nurturing the idea of the chapter. So after coming back, I tried to figure out in Kolkata who are the possible members. So Jawad is telling it is 10%, but those days it was very difficult to get 12 members in or around the city. Then I wrote directly to IEEE AP Society that I need the list. So list came. So based on that list, there was telephone number. So I contacted people, got signature, and I remember that advice from AP Society president. There is no so many chairs and so many portfolios. No, president is president, and he used to serve the whole office. So he wrote to me that Debatosh, you should make sure that all 12 members are of good standing. That is, their dues are really clear, or you better try to get signature from 14 to 15. Then it is safe. So I followed his advice. So 15 people we signed, and we started our chapter in Kolkata. And Jawad, you might remember that the approval came in the month of November 2003. And in 2003 December, we formed the chapter that was accepted by section. But within a few months, I left India. In 2004, I left for Canada. And this chapter was led by our own group. My teacher, my supervisor, Professor P.K. Saha, he became the chair. After I came back in 2006, then I started conceiving that plan that the chapter should have some leading role in organizing one main conference. So that ultimately culminated in the form of Applied Electromagnetics Conference, what you know in the name of AEMC. So we started that conference to 2007. And there I first saw the face of Dr. Pandey. We did not know each other until that. So that is the beginning of our networking, our friendship. And today, the whole India and the whole microwave community, you know each other. The seed is actually from that AEMC, and that seed was actually implanted in 2007 in the city of Kolkata. That's true, Jawad, you have rightly mentioned that is the beginning of the whole community journey.
Right.
And in different forms now, it is taking the shape of MapCon. AEMC initially, we targeted three societies of IEEE, AP, MTT, and EMI-EMC, that I remember. After that, a lot of transformation, IMARC came, INCAP came, and again the merger from this year, and that is the bigger form of AEMC, that AP and MTT both are combined now. So anyway, it is the kind of story of this of our society activities in India that started in 2006, 2007.
All right. So there are now 11 chapters or joint chapters in India. EP chapters and joint chapters.
So and almost every chapter is equally vibrant.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Talking about Canada, we would love to hear about you from you regarding your association with and working with Professor Antar. You've worked with stalwarts like Professor P.K. Shah in radio physics and Professor Antar in Canada. So your thoughts on that and the research you did with that.
Yeah, I'm really fortunate because the people I came across starting from my student life till today, I should say, not 100%, but 99.5% or more are so decent, so nice, and definitely Professor P.K. Shah is the top one. I never have seen a person of so perfection, so humble, and so fabulous understanding of electromagnetics, but there is no expression. That is the beauty of his teaching, of his training. So it was really very good for me and also equally bad for me, because I did not face any kind of hurdle, any bad time in my training program. Really, I did not get it. And after that, I got you. Another soft person, very soft personality. And then Dr. Anter. You know that my mother was very sick because she was cerebral patient, that is cerebral attack, after cerebral attack. She was very sick, so I could not leave her alone. So after her demise, I first got some kind of freedom from my side to go abroad and stay for a few days, a few months. So I wrote 2 letters, 3 letters. Right, I remember 2 names, third names I don't remember. I wrote 3 mails. One to Dr. Anter and one to Alan Gleason in Mississippi. And do you remember the other one else? Because that time you were associated with me.
I know you got a position from Alan Gleason because he was the EIC.
Yes, actually Jawad, actually when you were just completing, I was very free that time that my one PhD student is going to complete and going to submit it. So I have the time, so better I choose that slot. So actually I did it. And Jawad got his PhD degree when I left India.
Right.
You submitted when I was in India, but after I left, you got your degree.
Right, in 2000.
Yeah. So actually, yeah, that was another boundary condition I had to maintain that time. Yes. I wrote to both of them for 2 visiting positions, and their reply came. Dr. Anter came 1 day before I got from Gleason, but immediately I responded, Dr. Anter, that yeah, I'm accepting your offer. So I had to say no to Alan Gleason. Dr. Gleason was more attractive because Gleason was that time editor-in-chief of AP Transactions.
Right.
And if you see his photograph, he's looking like Jesse Maxwell, almost similar, with white beard and like one Rishi. So anyway, word or consent is consent. So I accepted his offer, and I had no idea about Dr. Anter's facilities, style of work, anything. So everything was new to me. That's very significant that when I started working in 2004, July, I arrived on July 1 and started working on July 3 or July 4, probably. The first site institute, the Royal Military College, the laboratory and the whole ambience, it was amazing. Like a picture postcard. So that attracted me, or impressed me very much. So from every corner of my office or room, every side of my window, it was like a picture postcard. But when I started work, I found that there is enormous freedom because he did assign no work to me. Rather, almost every day afternoon, he used to talk over a cup of tea or coffee. And we used to talk like friends. Sometimes he used to call Debatosh that what problem you're working on, what's your progress, this and that. Some minor things. But within 1 year time, by the end of 2005, I am wrong. I went there. No. I'm right. 2004. By the end of 2005, when I spent almost 1.5 year time, that time he published few very new works, I remember. Many, I cannot count right now, maybe 7 or 8 good papers in transactions at the time. And the reason is that is one big opportunity for me to test the DGS concept. The DGS, when we conceived in 2003, during 2003 and 2004, we did some elementary experiments, and Jawad is one of them who took experimental results in a very crude form. And that was not publishable because it was just the proof of concept or few very limited data points. So when I reached Canada, that gave me the first opportunity to test my experiments in their laboratory. One more advantage, rather it is by God's grace, I got this opportunity. One outstanding technician of whole North America. He was very famous technical person of antenna measurement. So he was my co-author, rather co-worker in some cases. I learned many things from him, David Lee. And that's why I offered authorship. Dr. Anter encouraged me to include him as our co-authors in some papers. So I learned many complicated experiment setup, and get results. So by this way, I learned experiments and criticality in the experiments. And when David confirmed that your antenna is giving more than 5 dB separation across pole, that was our dream that time. There was no theory, no simulator. So in India, we worked based on our just idea-based calculation. Based on our theoretical perception, we did it. So in Canada, first I got that experimental outstanding support, setup, and learning, and parallelly, HFSS version 8. So that is the transition of version 8 to version 9. So I learned on version 8. Two students are working, so they were my teachers in that sense, and they trained me how to use HFSS. So these two things gave me new insight, new ideas, and I tried to explore every aspect with fullest dedication. But the most interesting thing happened in the winter of 2004. Winter is very depressing in Canada, you know, very depressing. But that depression suddenly waved with a new question from one lady student. She walked in and she asked me directly, it's a Chinese lady. She asked me that, Dr. Guha, you are in this lab, but I have a question for you. What's that? She told that I cannot understand dielectric resonator antenna, so can you please help me understanding this thing. I told Lucia, I have heard about DRA, but I have no idea about the dielectric resonator antenna. Never have seen this material, nor its theory, nothing I do. So how can I help? Don't worry, Dr. Go. I can supply some materials. And can you give me some books? No. There is no book published right now. Then, well, don't worry, I'll come to her office tomorrow. Oh my God, next day she came with 2 big files, the bunches of papers. I was not afraid because the paper was the only source during our time to learn anything. And I 200% rely on this reading of papers for learning purpose. It does not mean that whenever I read anything, it will be very clear to me. But I have heard if I read twice, if I read thrice, if I can read with passion 4 times, 5 times, gradually the things become clear to me. So that is the best way to learn new things. If you have a book, well, the book is good. But when you read multiple papers, you can get multiple inputs from different people, different perspective, different language. So it's the best way, but you'll have to track what you have read and what's your own perception, your personal understanding. So you need to keep track and notes on that. So that winter, probably 4 to 8 weeks, nearly 2 months time, I gave very serious reading day and nights for understanding this. Then I started working on DRA. I found it very interesting. So Lucia was the first one, and I and Lucia first worked on very simple structure. Then we worked on a circularly polarized antenna, and it is a kind of translation from microstrip to DRA. But then I realized that it is not that easy, because in microstrip we control the current, but in DRA you cannot control the current. That's why DRA is not the right element or right candidate to replicate any fractal structure. You cannot control current on that. So by this way, we learned many new things, and there are lots of new things, new opportunities of working with DRA that we realized. And during my stay, I did not stay for complete 2 years. It is around more than 1.5 years time. So parallelly, I tried to learn one side of microstrip with different new geometries, and at the same time DRA. So DRA learning is the biggest thing during my stay in Canada. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Now, I'd like Dr. Chinmoy Saha to, get some questions, ask some questions. I think questions.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for very nice and elaborate explanation, journey, little bit of technical at some points on your association with Professor Saha, Professor Andar, and the work and the ambience at RMC. I'll take you back to 27 and 2010. You mentioned about IEEE Applied Electromagnetic Conference, which was the first national platform for antenna and electromagnetic community in India, but having an international flavor. even though I call it a national platform. And then 2010, you conceived the first Indian antenna week in summer.
So I request Chinmoy, so on my behalf, you can explain that how did we do this thing, because we did it together.
I just want to quote unquote, I want to mention the comment that Professor Bob Nevels reported in AP magazine in 2010 after the antenna week, that from my last 30 years of...
Chinmoy,
yes, sir.
The audience may not be knowing what is antenna week and what was the special concept of antenna week.
Yes, sir. I'm framing the question. I'll
Okay, so you start with this comment. Okay, you do it.
Yeah. So this Indian antenna week, it was a workshop conceived by Professor Guha in summer in India. That is, the first one was in June in Mayfair, Hotel Mayfair, Puri. And I was involved from probably day zero. I mean, while the concept, it was being conceived. And the last part that I was mentioning, then AP President, Professor Nevels, after attending the event, he made a report in AP magazine and he mentioned, quote unquote, from my experience of attending AP events over the last 30 years, I have not seen such an event executed with perfection. So that was the hallmark, and that was the appreciation from the highest position of the society. So I request Professor Guha to illuminate the audience about this antenna workshop, which was conceived from your perception on applied electromagnetic conference, because later on these events got merged and we have a new name or whatever. So I request you, sir, please to illuminate.
Well, I have a question to all of you. Somebody can answer me. That is my voice breaking? Because Chinmoy's voice is breaking frequently.
Your voice is perfect, sir.
Perfect. Okay. Well, what happened in AMC 2007? We had 100 papers submitted, around 100. In 2009, our total submission was more than 200, 215 or something like that. Out of this 210 or 215 papers, more than 50% papers were on antennas. So that gave me one idea that the antenna community is growing in India, which was not perceived earlier. So it is clearly reflected that antenna researchers are more in number. So more than 50%. So rest 50% on propagation, microwave circuits, devices, etc., etc. And purely antenna-oriented papers are more than 50%. Then I immediately shared this idea with some of my senior friends, and I wrote to IEEE, AP Society. And Bob Nevels was president that time. And we decided from our side in Calcutta chapter that this is the right time to hit this this real subject, that is our Indian young researchers, young community. They need good support in terms of training. So it should be workshop, tutorial workshop, etc., by the top leaders, industry leaders. Because I missed one point during my stay in Canada. I had opportunity to work for one industry. They did not pay me directly, but the IPR transfer happened, and I got this opportunity too. That is also an important aspect for any academician, any R&D person. R&D persons, they do get this opportunity, but from academic people, we need close interactions in industry. Unless it is not possible to realize the real flavor of technology development. So God helped me in somehow throughout my life, throughout my career, that I received good feedback or criticism, whatever you say, but I got it from the real users, industry, R&D. And in this connection, I just add, I may forget that, you know, the DGS technique is now widely accepted standard, and it gets different applications, a wide range of, it's a big rainbow, the DGS. But when we conceived DGS in 2004, 2005, that the first work we are doing, we had no idea about this. We just conceived to address from our theoretical perspective and demonstrate that if we apply this theory, this idea, it should work to take care of the modal distribution, field distribution, higher order modes, and all these techniques. But the first feedback came from NCAR, National Center for Atmospheric Research, Boulder. They interacted, they gave some feedback. This American R&D lab, they developed their system based on our new concept, new idea, and they've indicated, they wrote to me that, Debatosh, you have addressed two things separately, but the combination of these two will give you better mileage. So they did it. So doing everything by same persons, it is not possible. The science and technology develops by the different ideas, different mingling of different ideas, contributions from different sides. And that gave me, or again, I said that it's not me, they gave us the real strength of confidence and encouragement for proceeding further, to take up new problem, addressing new problem, and work on that. And you will be happy to see one complete dedicated volume on DGS based antenna. It will be published. The date is given by our publisher, the November 2022, this year. And we are very happy that our this new content, new volume will be published by IEEE Press with Wiley. So I deviated from another point, that is the industry feedback, the industry interaction. So that idea I had, that we need to some forum where we can interact very closely. And summer is the best time to do it, because most of the community people are teachers or researchers or students. So summer is the best time. So we conceived it, and it is 1 week, complete week, full week, 5 days event. We planned and designed and proposed, and IEEE APS immediately granted $5,000 US. So that's the beginning. And at the same time, University of Calcutta, they were generous by from one UGC funding. They supported another near about 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs of rupees. So that helped us first conceiving this workshop in the name of Indian Antenna Week. We followed the type like European Microwave Week, so it is Indian Antenna Week, but our total design was the workshop type of thing, that is
fully residential workshop,
morning to evening, and it has to be fully residential. That is IEEE president, any speaker, and any student, they're sharing, they're using, or they're staying in the same standard of rooms in the same hotel, under the same roof. And since it is summertime, you have no option for doing fun outside. So you are supposed to be within your AC environment, spend whole day, whole evening, whole night. And the first event was in Puri. And Chinmoy, I remember Chinmoy and Sudhakar. I don't know where Sudhakar Shahu is here. They were the organizing chairs in the first Indian Antenna Week. Am I right, Chinmoy?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
If I may add something, that is a technical financial sponsorship, that was your first ADCOM meeting in 2010 in Toronto, that you presented the concept of Indian Antenna Week for the funding.
Do you remember that one? You were that time in Canada.
Yes, I was there in Toronto, and it was the day that Spain won the World Cup. Football.
And you attended that ADCOM meeting where I presented.
Yes. You know, I was there. I was there in the concert, in the venue.
Yeah, we are in the venue.
I guess it was Football World Cup final on that day.
Yes. Spain won the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
The concentration was on the match as well as in the ADCOM meeting.
Parallelly, people are watching World Cup
Spain.
final at the same time ADCOM meeting. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, Spain 1-0.
Yes.
And definitely Professor Tapan Sarkar, he had wholehearted support during that time. He was with us.
In fact, he was panicking because the ADCOM started and your flight was late, and you were walking in, coming in and out of the Hotel Hilton in Toronto, downtown.
Jawad, our audience probably could not follow your points. Actually, my flight was late, so I rushed to hotel. I just kept my luggage and same dress that I'm traveling from Kolkata to Toronto. With using same dress, I ran to attend this ADCOM.
Yes.
And Jawad was with me that time.
Yes, I mean, that was the first ADCOM meeting. So
ADCOM meeting, and you joined from RMC, that is from Kingston.
Yes, I joined from Kingston.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. And now we'd like to ask you, your accomplishment, one of the, feather of accomplishment that you got is becoming the fellow of IEEE. That's such a prestige and a privilege to be an IEEE fellow. So, and of course, other national society and national bodies, engineering and science fellows. Would you tell us about your experience and the process and your feeling about it? The audience.
Yeah, that is also, I'm not going to make it too elaborate because people may get bored. For me, I'm telling I'm fortunate. Normally, what happened, we prepared the things and we need to find out who will be our nominator and how to be nominated. Normally, it is the process. But for me, what happened, Bob Neville's, it is in Toronto. It was just before the banquet. He suddenly asked me, that Debatosh, are you fellow of IEEE? No, I'm not fellow of IEEE. Then he told me, okay, but this is not good that you, why not? Did you try? No, I never tried. You should try. Okay, how to do it? Then he just standing in the lobby, he just told that there is some procedure, this thing. So quickly he told, and definitely this time you should follow it. So it is the winter, not winter, it is summer of 2010. So I came back and I discussed with some senior friends and colleagues who are fellows. So one told me, well, so I'll be your nominator. So nomination was submitted in 2011. But the nomination procedure was so complicated, Jawad, that those days, that my nominator, I'm not naming the specific name, I don't want to mentioned. So he did some mistake in submitting this. So the whole pro forma, absolutely, it was a big mess. That was a big issue. So anyway, from 2011, I did not qualify. From 2012, it was more or less straightforward. So IEEE Fellow is a big honor, and we need to be very careful in submitting our nominations. That which category we are being nominated. And one very specific thing that is important for everyone, to those who are thinking of, that is, it is not based on your whole life work. It is not the lifetime achievement. There is some changes in the fellow nomination. When I got nominated, and it was in 14, 15, that time, there were options of 3 papers and 10 additional. 10 additional means they are redundant. So you will be evaluated based on only 3 tangible documents, either patents or papers, that's all. And your significant work that is widely accepted, applied, and of huge impact. That is changing some concept, implementing some new idea, helping to develop other branches. So this type of it is not like breakthrough, but significant contribution in terms of idea and impact. Now, this part is more simplified and easy. Now, you are not restricted to give only 3 words. You are asked to tell about your significant 2 works, 2 contributions. And each contribution is supported by 3, 4 papers, that's fine. Again, another contribution, 3, 4 papers. So you have the option of accommodating your major papers, maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe 10. You are not limited to 3. That our time it was limited to 3. So now it is not like that. It is limited to your 2 major contributions, and that is supported by your publications. So that is the main thing. Otherwise, it is very usual and normal. If you were a good volunteer of IEEE, if you are dedicated volunteer and involvement with IEEE section, local chapters, that gives you some additional points and advantages. But your main part that is considered, it is considered into 2 parts. One, you are evaluated by your own society, and it is 25%. And the rest part is evaluated by the general fellows of IEEE, that is the IEEE Fellow Committee. So first screening is based on your contribution, technical contribution, and your own peer group will evaluate. And after you are recommended for the next phase of evaluation, then the general IEEE fellow group will evaluate you. So it may not be fully technical, but they will evaluate you based on your overall impact. They will search by website, search by Web of Science, search by Google Scholar, general impact by any keywords that you have written in your document. So based on that, you will be evaluated. So total, I have seen around 80 to 100 IEEE fellows are involved in this evaluation process for each candidate. And you don't know who will be your evaluator and from which society, which part of the world. So that's the challenge.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. Now let's digress a bit from your technical contribution to your hobbies. Not many of the audience will know that Professor Guha is an accomplished poet, and he has published a book on poetry. It's entitled Jhumkolota Moner Kotha. So would you like to share about your interest in poetry and how it started and
Yes.
how it keeps you relaxed?
Poetry, writing poetry, I remember it was when I was in class 3 or class 4 from that time. And the first impactful poetry that I wrote in 1976 after Kazi Nazrul died on the same day. And I realized that this poetry, what I used to write that time, was important because after I wrote that poetry, the same poetry was published in 3 or 4 magazines simultaneously. They all knew that it is being shared in different magazines, but the editors did not care. They took it for public. So that is my very young age encouragement. But later on, I wrote many poetry, and finally I have published. And my wife, Sharbodi, she encouraged me like anything. And finally, the final volume is due to her only. So it is actually her contribution.
Right. Yes, she has contribution not only in your life, but in all your students, the way she has interacted with the students. We're all grateful to her because I have, I have benefited from her generosity in the first hand. So it has been a wonderful journey.
Yes, actually, she was much more accomplished during our marriage time because I had no award, nothing. But she that time with some significant national awards that when we got married, she was already young scientist. So her area, it is very difficult and full of mathematics. It is cosmology. So very, very difficult for me to follow and comment on that. But you're right. So.
And so I think Chinmoy is eager to ask some few more questions. Over to
Yeah,
you.
Yes, sir. I think this is the second last question because,
Chinmoy, we're in the inversion curve or the curve is still steady. How many people are here right now? 59.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so
We will have an open session after this one, maybe.
Maybe getting bored.
You have been in the chapter, section, and different committees in IEEE, administration committee, industry initiative committee, and then
Right.
measurement committee. And probably many other engagements, writing books, so many students. So please tell us about your time management, the discipline, the way you work and you propel your team.
And
Your style.
quite a few years ago, I met one Nobel laureate, and we are just discussing that how does she spend her time. She told only right now I only write for my students. And what that? I only write recommendations. So 50% of my time, honestly, I'm telling it is for to support my young friends and young fellows, only to write lots of recommendations, online, offline, etc., etc., etc. And I believe it is my duty that somebody should support them, to mentor them, to train them based on, actually, I'm not really very, very good trainer, but I need to give them support based on my experience. At least my age is more, my experience is more compared to some young people. So they should enjoy my inputs to improve their any kind of curriculum or their presentation, etc. So honestly speaking, I now give most of, not most, 50% of my time for my student. It is not my students. It is my any young professionals, young friends across the globe. That's one thing. And second is, I write every paper, whatever published, I write on my own, sitting with my students. So that's my only passion.
Right.
So these two are my basic works. And if there is some assignments, the government level, from our own government level, there are lots of assignments. And again, main academic evaluation, examination. So that I do. Reading part is very, very minimal nowadays, but I try to read most of the topics of AP magazine. And I request everyone that if you keep yourselves updated with the modern things, what's upcoming things, our AP magazine is the very, very good resource. So this is most of the time I'm doing this thing.
Right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I think we had a very wonderful interactive session. Now, I know quite a few of your colleagues and friends and maybe students also, they are eagerly waiting to have an open session. So before I...
And apart from my young friends, my peer groups, yes. I very closely interacted with my peer groups in India and abroad, and we share our thoughts, and sometimes we need mutual helps. So that we do. That I enjoy interacting with them.
Yeah, definitely, sir. So we'll start the open session now.
Sure, I'll be happy to.
Evening, I would request Professor B.S. Manoj, who was the head of the Department of Avionics IIST. He has spent a long duration during his PhD and postdoc in USA, and currently chairman in different societies and other OUs of IEEE Kerala section to interact. Professor Manoj, please.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Professor Chinmoy. And it's good to see you, Professor Debatosh Guha, again after your last visit to IIST at Barton. I remember the days we had an interaction.
I remember, and I hope to visit soon.
Yeah, very good, very good. So, I was just listening every word of what you have just spoken over the last minutes. It was excellent experience for me to listen. It was a very interesting journey that you had, your growth, travel, and professional service by IEEE. And more importantly, your observations about the fellow selection process. Indeed, a very interesting event. One good thing with the L4 is that we can have interaction sessions like this, which most other events will be only technical talk and interaction only on technical terms. But these are glimpses of one of the biggest experts in antenna RF microwave in India to reveal some of the very important things which are not recorded otherwise. So, sir, I have only one very simple question, since many of us are actually going to ask you. So, when students, you have seen several students, you have admitted several students to your research lab. You have also mentored some of the best talents. Two very good examples are actually here in this forum, maybe more such examples. How do you spot the talent in students when they come to you, when they approach you? And how do you nurture that talent? And I'm also in this area of taking students and reviewing. I just want to learn from you on this particular point.
Very, very good question. Actually, in my undergraduate and postgraduate classes, I always target the weakest student. The very weak and weakest students, I generally target them. The task will be easy because if I am successful to make them understand, then the rest of the class is safe. That is one thing. And second thing, I never tell them anything directly from book, because every student, they have this the ability to read the text and learn from book, which is not in the book, which is based on my own experience. So that science, that philosophy, I try to express, and by this way, they become excited, they get more insights, and it works well for both weak and definitely those who are talented. They pick up very fast. That is one way of my teaching. And in some cases, if the student is too weak, then I tag 1 or 2 weak students with a brilliant one. So the good student will get opportunity to, or rather the weak ones get opportunity to learn from his or her classmate or friend in a better way, spending more time, and that gives the weaker part of students better opportunity to learn. Second thing that you asked, that many of you are teachers. Sometimes I've seen the teachers are not concentrating on the student activities in class. They try to concentrate on their own topic or on the board. They're working on board or looking at this and that. I don't do this thing. I always try to interact with them. So eye-to-eye contact is always there, almost with each one. And that gives me a very clear indication that who is the real talent in the class and who has the bright future in this topic. It may be that what I am teaching, it is not his or her cup of tea. So it is not that he or she is not talented. I understand whether he or she is interested in this subject or not. And I have seen later on, that is after 4, 5, 6, 10 years, that my guess, my assumption is very, very correct. That really he or she is very good, or he or she is not good in this subject. So this is very simple. So it is not too laborious, too difficult to identify and to interact. But you have asked that how do I help them? Well, it is through interaction. One-to-one interaction is very important. And my students are very free. They are my best friends. They are very free. They frequently visit my office. And for any reason, they're always welcome to ask any question, any critical question, or any kind of social problems question with me. They're very, very open to me. So that opportunity they get.
And just one additional.
Keep any distance with anyone. Never.
Now, when a PhD student approaches you for a research opportunity,
no. Graduate, postgraduate, anyone is equally free to come to my chamber.
Okay.
And
thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Manoj, for asking that very nice question, and that will actually help us.
Yeah, very, very pertinent and good question.
Yeah. So I would request Dr. Pandey, in spite of this busy schedule, is still present in the audience. Dr. DC Pandey, sir, please.
I am very honored to see Dr. Pandey. Dr. Pandey, I cannot see you. That is my problem. I don't know whether I can see your face. Dr. Pandey.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Sir, please turn on your video.
I'm very sorry that I was just coming from the BEL, and I'm traveling, so that I'm talking from my phone. And I told in the morning to Chinmoy that, okay, I will definitely attend. Then I was telling in the meeting, of course, at 5:30, I logged in, and I'm listening that all the things what you are talking about. and and the thing that from the 2007, when I first met you in the conference, from that time that, okay, I feel myself really proud that, okay, I have a friend like Professor Debatosh Guha. And not that one, it is not you that who made me to whom I met, but you introduced me to the people like Dr. Siddiqui, Dr. Saha, Chinmoy, and Dr. Ganguly, and so many other people whom I met from the thing. And I frankly speaking to you that, okay, I confess myself that, okay, I was coming very often to IIT Kharagpur. I was coming to Samir, Calcutta, and I was going to Jadavpur University because I had given some project to them. But one thing I still miss that, okay, of course, I have come out of the DRDO, but not in that way that I have come out. I was still in the DRDO, but not that position. I wanted to have a project from LRD with you. We tried our level best, but it could not materialize. But yes, whenever I was coming to your conferences, your antenna weeks, so I will come with a team of some 12 to 13 people or 14 people with me. And those people still remember, sir, nowadays that thing is not there, what the way it is going on. Whether it was in Puri, whether it was in Gangtok, whether it was in our Pushkar, or whether it was in the Aurangabad. So it was a fantastic experience.
Dr. Pandey, you are telling everyone is thinking that Debatosh Guha is so great and he did this thing, but it is not true.
I see that, okay, when you started talking that, okay, you are not deserving that one. Not the Debatosh, it is not like that one. You deserve a lot of things more. You are such a humble person. Your humility is too high. Your dedication, devotion, and your zeal and enthusiasm towards your academic, administrative, the thing is excellent. I have not seen a person like you who not for himself, I never seen that, okay, you are asking for something for you. You always ask for, okay, whether your students, your colleagues can be brought up. This is the thing, your humbleness, this is your generosity, which really makes you that, okay, today in this position, because the respect of the person comes from his deeds, and your deeds source from in your academic, your administrative, your leadership, everything is excellent. From my side, I feel proud. And that, okay, I feel that, okay, you are an asset to me in my academic, professional, and as well as the personal friends. So this is great that, okay, I heard you, and keep on helping your student, as you are saying that one, because that is one of the great thing what you do. And the young generation to be always guided. That is you are sitting in such a place from where you can guide them and bring the people like that. You brought the Javed, who is there. You brought the Chinmoy, Dr. Debarti, all that. There are so many people that, okay, our Chandrakant, Dr. Chandrakant from the Bangalore, right? And then when you are visiting to that one, and then now the Puneet is going to be with you. And that you have really made the leaders in the field of antennas and propagation, not antenna and propagation, in the field of microwaves, all the field. With this one, the Professor Guha, I say that, okay, you are an asset to the country also, not from this particular one, in the field of antennas and propagation, in the electromagnetics, microwave. I really feel that, okay, you are really toss bearing, because of the electromagnetics. When we talk from the science college. right? From the thing that, okay, because when I was in Allahabad, so our JK Institute was also the 3 years BSc, then that used to be given as the MSc Tech type of the thing. Professor S.N. Ghosh and type of the people, those who were there, they were the same type of the. And we have got so many people from the science college in our DRDO, and whosoever is there, because the type of the professors and the lectures or the type of faculty in that one, they have done everywhere, wherever you feel. If that thing that, okay, from Calcutta, that if they say from science college, it means that they are going to excel in their field, wherever they are in our DRDO. Not DRDO, wherever I go for other places also for the interviews and other things, I find that, okay, it is the your dedication, your devotion, and you are the way that, okay, you are teaching the people is an excellent contribution to the country or to the community of the electromagnetics. My question is that to you is, I won't say it is a question that, okay, I can ask you that the thing now, what I feel that, okay, something IEEE Antenna Week is started, something new has to be started, something in the similar field, in some other field, right? Now you are in the nanotechnology, or say that you are in the other field. So something like that, some other field, you can also do the, can start some of the activity so that in future that also can generate a new new type of the activities in the country. Because some field you take, and we will all support you. Wherever we are, we will all support. With this one, Professor Guha, I congratulate you for achieving your such a wonderful Calcutta. Of course, for some time you went to Canada, sometime US. That is the part of the profession. But you did real contribution to the country. My best wishes to you, and to seeing you that is such a handsome personality. I always feel that, okay, your personality itself impresses the person. Right? So with this one, thank you very much. And I will talk to you when I come sometime. Okay, very soon we will be meeting.
Thank you, Dr. Pandey. You have told many things, but I really tell again that without people like you, Dr. Pal, and many of my peer group, KP Ray, R.K. Mishra. So without this, my senior group, and without my students, I have no value actually. So what we see, what we ultimately could achieve, it is based on their contributions, both in academic research and also in the arena of IEEE and societal activities. Starting from Jawad, Chinmoy. I was telling a few days ago that Chinmoy could not sleep, not only at night, but in successive nights. He could not have his food on time. Both Jawad and Chinmoy. They could not have traveled to, Dr. Pandey, you might remember, they could not have traveled on time to that Changu Lake when we were returning from that lake, and they were trying to reach there.
Yes, so yes, I remember that.
That was their dedication, and they supported. So all these people, actually, the whole community is benefited by many of us. So it is not my single credit, but I'm fortunate that I got all of you around me, and your tremendous support, in terms of everything. Anyway, so we are together, and what you are mentioning about the format about the design of IAW, Dr. Paulos encouraged me that model should be sustained. So I'll try my best to find out some way that this model should be reinforced, or we can reconsider this one again. Thank you.
That is great. That is great. Thank you very much.
My sincere thanks to Dr. Pandey for endorsing me that, again, I am telling that this talk is a talk. We'll debate with our sir sometime again. And also thanks to Professor Guha sir for creating this opportunity.
Well, one more thing, Chinmoy, I should mention that I did not mention about Chandrakant, Puneet nowadays, but who not? Sujoy, all my students, they were supporting me in different ways. Sujoy is one of my co-authors and taking huge pain in publishing this book. Chandrakant is main co-author in this book, and it is, you can see me in the forefront, but actually the backstage player, backstage contributors, the whole group of my students. So how do I mention? I'm really fortunate to have all of you with me throughout my career.
Right, sir. Right, sir. As we say, there is a popular saying that a professor or an academician is known by the quality of students he has produced. So on that note also, I would again say that you are a leader and a legend. So now I would request Professor Anandan, a very senior colleague and probably contemporary or maybe little senior to Professor Guha, to come to the open session and have his points or comments. Professor Anandan, please.
Hello, Professor Guha.
Anandan?
Hello. Yeah, it was very nice meeting you all for the last 2 hours. I was hearing you, and it was, what can I tell you? What we were doing in the 80s, 90s, the type of research, type of facilities that we have, it was, we could remember all those things when we were only having hard copy and there was no net something. But, and of course, I remember am I audible now?
Yes, Professor.
Yes, Professor.
Yeah, you were a regular visitor for APSIM, regular contributor for APSIM, and a regular examiner for our PhD students. It was a great support for us, for the university. And what I want to ask you, it's not a question, of course, the type of, how to improve the teaching of microwaves electromagnetics, because as we all know, the takers, the students who are opting for this is very, very small. But what we understand is that there are a lot of opportunities for RF students, RF engineers, but there are many places where there is a shortage of RF specialized persons, but many students are not opting for that one. Just what will be your comment on that one?
Right, Professor Anandan, I'm telling you, because today I think the attendees are from different parts of India. So your supervisors, your peer group, they were our inspiration. Your group was really fantastic group in this country, and you were our age group were really inspired by your dedication and your continuous support to all of us. I must admit it. But your concern is the real concern, because in undergraduate, because I'm telling you, this year in our institute, the students admitted in MTech, those who were in microwave and space science group, 80% of them had no background in microwave engineering in their BTech courses.
Yeah.
That's the most unfortunate thing, and that's the challenge to train them or to teach them. And really, I don't know, because it is the need of the student, whether if they have no appetite, if they are getting some impression that only IT or IoT or machine learning, but machine learning will have to apply to some places.
Yeah, sure.
And machine learning also we are using right now in our antenna engineering. Kaushik is present, Kaushik. And you'll be surprised to see that the basic understanding of electromagnetics is totally upside down when you are using the machine learning technique, which you could not think of, but that is happening. So this machine learning is giving us the new opportunity to interpret physics and electromagnetics, because the boundary condition is boundary condition, but the boundary condition, if it is being changed and what is changing inside, that we can just conceive, but we cannot interpret in a proper way. So now the time that we need to interpret it, because machine learning is telling that this boundary condition is not the best boundary condition to solve your problem. You need to have a different boundary condition. So machine learning is good, information technology and all this thing is good, but you need to learn. But who is going to nurture this thing? Nurture this. Probably the new generation of teachers, they will encourage. Actually, we need to encourage the students and make them understand that this is the real area. You need to learn it. I hope by this way it will again regain, but at present the situation is not very bright. So we have the new generation teachers like Chinmoy, Shaptarshi, Devdeep, Raghavendra. Are they present in the audience? I don't know. So it is now their opportunity and their challenge to get more people, more students to be associated with electromagnetics.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Chinmoy, for giving this opportunity to interact. And also, I wish all the best for Dr. Guha. And because we need people like you in the .com, APS.com.
Thank you. I need your support, because
sure. All of us will be supporting for it.
It is the professional contest and depends on the choice of the members from different parts of the globe.
Yeah, but
it depends.
You will be able to help our society in a better way. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Anandan again. So anybody else would request, I would request to interact, maybe Dr. Chandrakanta Kumar, sitting very close to the host position and very close student and associate of Professor Guha. Chandrakanta, are you there? Okay. So.
Yeah, Chinmoy, are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going through all the discussions that was going on and all the narrations that was being put. I just want to add one small thing that will probably explain everything in a short edition. That is, when I was carrying out my research, and because it is after office, I have to do many things and all. So what I used to do my experiments maybe after 5. Then I used to arrange my result and send that result to him.
Chandrakant's network is not supporting.
I also feel so. Chandrakanta, you are not audible.
Chandrakanta has some network issue probably. Chandrakanta has some network issue.
Yes, sir. Anybody else who wants to interact? Yes, sir. Please.
Yeah, Chandrakant has a network issue. Sometimes when I talk to him, I face that one because I think there is no.
So we'll wait for him if he comes back. In the
Clear,
meantime, I open the forum for anybody to speak with the legend. Maybe Kaushik.
Yes, Chinmoy, thank you. This is really a memorable day for me because I could remember that 3-4 years back, a similar felicitation program we arranged after Professor Guha got the IEEE fellow. I really feel that he is a legend for our country. He's a legend for our country because um, after Professor Ramesh Garg, he got the IEEE fellow from the AP community in India. That information we should know. Youngsters should know this. So already you are a legend to his students. He is already legend. When we just joined his group, research group, he is legend for us automatically. But he is now legend for whole antenna community, not only in India, outside India also he is a legend for us. So no doubt about it. So I have a few points to ask. Not only ask, I want some message from Professor Guha. Um, it is regarding the new researchers. What should be your message, considering the industry requirements, the present situation? What new researchers could proceed? That is one point. The similar thing is how the new research guides, means like us, what should be our strategy to handle the new research fields and to handle the writing, to improve the writing skill, because ultimately you have to produce the public, you have to publish your work. And I know as a students of you, I know you are very good. Actually, we learned the writing skill from you. You are very famous of that also. You have delivered several lectures on that, how to write good quality research papers. This is my second point. I want some message from you. The third point, that is, I'm asking you, what is your observation, means what is your opinion? Because I found that from 2007 to 2017, this is, for me, it is a golden period for me, because the or conferences what I have attended, the participants have attended, DC Pandey has, Dr. Pandey has rightly mentioned, this is one golden period for us. And after that, there are several changes occur. The MapCon, INCAP, the other conferences come up. There are some changes.
Kaushik, please focus your question.
Yeah. So, what is your feeling, Professor Guha, and what we as an organizer we could improve that quality? That's it.
Yeah, that please.
Well, so you have multiple questions. One is the young researchers and the new researchers. Rather better I address that the young supervisors. That is the big problem.
Yes.
For the young supervisors, how to handle the problem. So one thing should be very clear, that doing research continuously for years and decades, it is not a very easy stuff to do. And it is not everyone's job. So if anyone cannot, it is not his disgrace or his point of disappointment. It is not possible for everyone to become equally competent to write poetry, a poem. So if it is spontaneous, How do you understand that you are competent for doing research? The one signature, as per my experience, that if you see that you get tired at the end of the day, at the end of the week of handling your problem, then it is obvious that you are not competent to continue research, either as a researcher or as a supervisor. You may succeed as a researcher for 2-3 years and get your PhD degree, but definitely you are not competent to continue for the rest of your life. It appears a bit harsh, but it is the reality. It is not that very easy thing. A researcher can continue if any problem, any point of disappointment gives him new encouragement, new impetus, new energy to fight with the problem, to find the end of the problem, and to find the real solution of the problem. So you are the best judge that whether you have that feeling within you. If it is yes, then you need not worry at all. You will automatically survive. If it is not, no training, no sermon, nothing will help you to survive in this world. That is very simple. Secondly, the challenge to one, even who is very energetic, very competent in research, one challenge sometimes comes, it is frequently happening, that which is the real problem to understand. So for that, I have 2 suggestions. One is somehow you should interact with the people who are really in R&D, real R&D, or in industry, because you get their input and try to find out the problem. Hardcore industry problem, that will give you new insight. Parallelly, if you are in academia or you are in hardcore research, academic research, then you need to be updated through the top 2, 3, 4 journals in your field. If you are from antenna, then definitely every month's issue, you should scan both transactions and AWPL and pick up those which you feel interesting. You read this thing, that is 2. And third one that is important to everyone, for the young people, that don't believe what is written in black and white. You believe what is understandable and justifiable, that you believe. If it is not justifiable, you should challenge, and that is the beginning of your research problem. Hopefully you get my point. Kaushik.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. So it is not a very readily available solution. It is a kind of continuous exercise with passion. And again, I'm telling, no one should feel discouraged, tired, disappointed at any point of time. You should not. And research is a path like that, but you need to acquire your own energy from that problem. And many of you, I just share one simple thing. Many of our group members, they have to wait to publish on paper, conceiving from problem to publication 4 to 5 years time. Many of you who are present in this. So that is the patience you have to find your problem, to get it verified multiple times, to improve the problem, results, perception, perfection, everything. And then you publish. And when you are publishing, that is the asset for new generation, because new generation will start from your point. So we have to give more patience, more time, and again with passion and with more energy. Don't get disheartened if it is not coming in one chance. Chandrakant is the one can give you the one best example, but is at the beginning of his career. But Chandrakant is not probably disconnected. He can talk. So Kaushik, could I address your questions?
Yes.
Yes. So that is my personal feeling.
Thanks, Kaushik, and thank you, sir. This gives a lot of input and impetus for mid-career research.
Okay, Dr. Chinmoy, are you getting my voice?
Yes.
I'm Mehfuz Ali.
Yes,
Mehfuz.
Please go ahead.
Oh, Mehfuz.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've been seeing you that you're present.
Yeah. Thanks, Dr. Saha. Thanks, Siddiqui and Kaushik. It is a very proud moment for me as I learned microstrip antenna from Guha sir during my MSc at Jadavpur University. And after that, I PhD. Then after many postdoc, again I returned back to it. When I returned back to India, again I interact with sir. And during my postdoc, I worked with many professors. I worked with Ando. I worked with Raj Mitra. I worked with John Bholakes. But those are one of the best. And then very recently, it is really from my heart, I can say. And last time we met at Chennai, ACL. Sir,
yes, Mehfuz, that's why I always try to interact the industry people. That time I visited that one, but you know that I was COVID infected, but I did not know that.
Yes.
I was so tired whole day, but Mehfuz was with me. But the point is that when we interact with industry, we get real input. That is important.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, 1 year because during the Japan and with the Endo, I worked computational electromagnetics, high frequency technique. Sir, when I went to Raj Mitra, I also I worked in method of moment. But when I returned back, I generally right now I working with HFSS, CST, and throughout India, all research are maybe not going towards the computational part. So
Right.
how to go in this to reach this computational electromagnetics?
Right. It is one thing that the stuff is difficult. Second thing, after learning electromagnetics, you build your own code and then you do your work. It will take long time, and by that time the student will get tired. So it is I had a plan that to build one, not to build, to have one, to encourage a group of people in India who will concentrate after doing PhD, not during PhD. After doing PhD, they will concentrate on developing this culture of computational electromagnetics, because until and unless we are competent to analyze in either way, there is no meaning of understanding or doing research. At least a few techniques should be taught. So the young generations who are already established, they should give some time to cope up with some new techniques. And nowadays, the learning is not a difficult thing. This is available through media and lots of text, video, etc. So on our own, we should be careful to rather interested to learn all this thing. But if you, Mehfuz, if you try to teach your student, it will be difficult for them because their time is very limited.
Yes.
Even in the PhD level. So by that time, other students, other fellows will complete their PhD, but he or she cannot. So it will create frustration. So right now, it is better to understand or pick up the topic if they're not used to, after doing PhD. Then apply, then understand, apply, and the rest of the career it will be useful.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
And thank you, Dr. Ali.
Okay, thanks, sir.
I would request, Sri Puneet Musha, one of your very close student and associate and a senior scientist, very senior scientist in ISO, to speak and have some good questions. Yeah, Dr. Puneet.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Chinmoy. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. And it is really an honor and privilege to talk in front of our guru, Guha sir. So, in fact, he is a kind of a path pradarshak. I can tell in Hindi there is a word path pradarshak, a torch bearer in most of the initiatives, especially in antenna and microwave domain. And most of the people who are attending, they know, but I would just give my criteria of putting him under the legend, leader, and L4 category is, he is one of the few people in India. Pardon me, sir, I am going to disclose some of the things which is yet to be announced, but I think
Puneet,
yes, sir. Yeah.
Good thing or bad thing?
Give me some minutes. So he is one of the few, I think you can count on fingers, people in India who are having now the fellowship of all the 4 major societies or academies in India. So that shows his credentials, that shows his contribution, not only in the antenna and microwave field, but towards the entire scientific community of India. So this is first and foremost thing I wanted to tell, that it is a real honor and privilege to know him personally. That way I will tell. Nothing more than that. And one more thing, when I was going through the IEEE fellows list, so probably he is the first IEEE fellow in Antenna and Propagation Society in India.
No.
Even though we are having non-resident Indians. Yeah.
Puneet,
I may be wrong.
Professor Ramesh Garg is the first fellow from India, yeah, in AP Society.
Okay, so I think then you may be the second one, but
right.
that itself is a real
you are right.
What I can say, distinction.
Counting finger, yeah.
Yes. Another thing I wanted to tell, that he has shown path to us that we can organize a truly international conferences in India, provide Indian students opportunity to interact with international experts. More than that, present their own work to the real legends, experts, luminaries in antennas and propagation field, which itself is a kind of award for a student who is doing MTech or PhD, because in India, 99% issues cannot afford even registration fees for any IEEE conference. So, providing this kind of a platform is the true. We talk about IEEE says technology for humanity. So there is a tagline, but the person who has really practiced it in life, I can say no other than Professor Guha. I take to again ask you, sir, whether do you have any now antennas and microwave field, especially among students, among young generation, is not very popular, not in fact second or third choice. It is going fifth or sixth choice for whether they want, except West Bengal and Kolkata, there is a very cluster places where this is still surviving. But in general, it is not a preferred option. So in my opinion, that may be one of the reasons that we don't have faculty members in this particular field. So like you have initiated conferences, like you have initiated Indian Antenna Week, AEMC, whether do you have any plan to have some program for the faculty members who in turn improve themselves so that they can make subject more interesting and truly produce world leaders in antenna and microwave. Thank you.
Actually, Puneet, your voice was not very clear, so I could not pick up your real questions. So one point I think I should share with you. Many of you are thinking in a different way, but actually I did not do anything. My primary passion was to do some research, and in a very humble way. I did not build any ship, any big factory, big chamber, nothing. I have tried to understand the inner or insight or inner physics of the antenna elements we are working on. And based on my limitation, my personal limitation, my surroundings limitations, I got few students in sequence. They came, they worked. And fortunately, we survived in this research. We found good results, good problems, and contributed. Parallelly, that was my primary thing to do sitting in Kolkata. And parallelly, when I felt that we had some need for my peer group, faculties, young faculty members, even students, because when I saw that the antenna community is growing up, by that time Chinmoy and today's more or less medium and senior groups, they are very infant stage that time, because they were absolutely in the master's level. Somewhere in the UG level, it is that time. So for this generation, I dreamed that they will come up. So we need some support in terms of not really big conference. Actually, it is a kind of networking and professional support. Professional support to the whole community. So that was in the back of my mind, and I just with my friends conceived, interacted. Today you see IEEE in one way, but during our time IEEE was different, totally academic. We used to write the president that we want to do this thing, need your support. The next morning I used to get this, well, Debatosh, it is approved. We are very happy to support. That's all. So the technical support, financial support, or just by mail. Nothing else. There was no formality, no table, no sheet, no Excel, nothing. It was very simple thing. So you don't think that I'm an event manager or something that's like big management person. No, absolutely not. So based on that understanding, I used to write them, interacted them, conceived, and the whole group around me, starting from KP, Dr. Pandey, Professor Mohananandan, they are far apart, but still, so they used to interact. So by this way, we survived and we did this work. And today it has grown what we dreamed that time. So that is the significance of our activities. But we did it parallelly. Our main part, that is 24 hours our everyday time. So time management, that is very important, I should say. That if you tell that, do you have any special quality, I should say yes. I have tried to manage my time because I know it is 24 hours. And somehow I have managed my time, but at the cost of my family time, at the cost of my other times, I had to do it.
Right.
even today, I work every day, and there is no Sunday, there is no Saturday, nothing. Every day with equal time, equal pace, equal energy. And now the type of work is different. I told that multiple supports, multiple letters I need to write for others, evaluation, student support, etc., etc. But yeah, time management is very important. So if you say that I'm very busy, I cannot do it, I have not opened my mail till afternoon, no. So that is your professionalism. You need to maintain it.
Thank you very much, sir.
It is my honest confession.
Dr. Chinmoy, with your permission, I want to speak something.
Look, can you please restrict? Dr. Halapia has raised his hand. He's waiting for long.
Puneet is there. It is Puneet's hand, Chinmoy.
So that is appreciation. That is appreciation.
Okay. That's good.
Chinmoy, sir.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
This is Halappa from Downigre.
We want a very narrow, focused question from you, narrow beam.
No questions, sir. No questions. Only I am telling thanks to my professor for providing all the opportunity to get into the university. And also, I am very happy that from 2008, I met professor. Up to 2017, I am with professor. And professor helped a lot for me to get, now recently I got professor post also in my university. Because of this is the gift given by my professor. I agree with DC Pandey sir, whatever commented. I agree with Chandrakant. I agree with our Kaushik and also Puneet sir, whatever they have expressed. Everything is eligible. My professor is eligible for all, whatever the appreciation given by antenna community in India. So I'm very thankful. I'm very happy in this moment. I'm thankful to you also organizing such a wonderful session. For a long time, I didn't heard the voice of my professor, but I thought of meeting professor in MapCan, but luckily virtually I am seeing my professor. From the beginning also, I'm listening to everything. And sir, thank you. I wish you all the best for your future healthy life and also more achievements in the field of antenna. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for giving me.
Thank you, but unfortunately I cannot see you anyway, so we'll be in touch.
Sir, one second, sir. I'll show you. Yeah.
Hey.
This is my house, sir. This is my house.
Very good, Halappa. Oh, this is your house. Great.
This is recently I got this.
Lot of mementos we can see.
Yeah. This is my kid's memento, but recently I placed this one, sir. Professor, your student is professor now in the university, sir.
Excellent. Congratulations and very best wishes. Just I mentioned that this type of dedicated students I got. He came all the way and stayed alone in Kolkata and he completed his PhD very successfully.
Sir, this is because of your blessing, sir. That's all I can tell.
Thank you,
sir. Very nice to see you, sir.
Thank you,
Chinmoy.
Halappa did some fundamental works actually in the field of DRA, and DRA people will remember him for a long time.
Yeah, sir. Sir, thank you. So we are
thank you.
Close end of the event, but two very important components are left. I'd request two of my students, Proham Nathan and Dipankar. Dipankar is from Kolkata. Proham is very close to Trichy famous temple. They have to share their screen to show something to you.
Chinmoy, we have crossed 2.5 hours.
Yes, sir. I told you. You told me it will be maximum 1 hour, half an hour, or like that. I told you it will be like this. So, Proham Nathan and Dipankar, please share your screen. This is as of now, a small appreciation from our side. But as of now, it is virtual, but it will not remain virtual. It will be actual. Please. Proham Nathan.
Yes, sir. This is Dipankar, sir.
Share your screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, sir.
Showing up.
Yes, sir. Can you see this, sir?
Oh my God.
Yes, sir. This is
Chinmoy?
from our side, sir. Some
Right.
small
Excellent.
thing.
As of now,
Excellent.
it is a
Thank you.
virtual
Thank you.
memento, but very soon we'll make it actual during
Yes,
your
of
next
course.
visit. Please
Thank
accept
you.
from our side. Yes.
Thanks for your love, appreciation, everything. I'm really overwhelmed to see your reactions and rather, I don't know what should say. I really did in a very humble way what have I done, I could have done in my life.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. And the last component, because we said that it will be an informal kind of discussion. I mean, it remained informal, but I don't want to go for a formal vote of thanks. I would like to thank all the team members, my section officers, chapter officers, APS Kerala chapter, former chair, Professor Anandan, many senior people who attended, like Dr. Pandey, Dr. Ray, Dr. Anandan, my other colleagues, Professor Manoj, Dr. Apren, Professor Anu Muhammad, Mr. Radijit Mitra, and a very strong team who are behind the screen, who are managing the show, the YouTube live streaming, starting the meeting at proper time, ensuring the meeting is being recorded, because it will be a permanent asset and it will be kept, in our YouTube channel later on. And Dipankar, do you have something more to show?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
please.
Sir, I'm playing the video, sir.
No,
Yes, sir.
sent you some link, no?
Yes, sir.
That link, yeah. So,
Chinmoy, I from the core of my heart, I express my sincere thanks and my regards, gratitude to all senior, my friends and junior ones, for
Sir,
arranging this interaction session. I really love to see all of you and have this opportunity to interact. Thank you very much.
I would just mention one more point, like, as Professor Siddiqui mentioned, the chairman of IEEE MTTS site committee, our very own sir, Professor Guha, is in the ballot for AP election, AP ATCOM election. You might have already received email. There is a link there. So please don't waste your time, exercise your, and execute your voting power, and make sure that we get a stalwart from India at the helm of the Antenna Propagation Society ATCOM, because Sir is a visionary, a legend, and his statement, his mission, vision that is mentioned in the ballot against his name, that is good enough, very strong message, and I am sure will be served in a much better way from the highest position in the society. And that at the very beginning I mentioned he deserves to the president of the society. So I request all of you to exercise.
And not only that, Chinmoy, that another important component is Jawad is already in its ex officio position. He is associated with ATCOM.
Right, sir.
So his support is also equally important.
Right, sir.
From Indian side. Jawad is online.
Yes, sir. Please unmute and have, yeah, please.
Thank you so much. You are already you are also an ex-official member. You are the chair of the measurement committee.
Still, your association and your long association, your involvement is more compared to me in the real ATCOM level at present. So India needs your continuous support for that one.
Right.
I'm happy and proud that you are leading some important parts in ATCOM.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
And in the future, we'll want to have you.
Thank you, sir. But we want to have you first in the ATCOM, because
let's see. So
that was the there was a discussion that we need representation from India, because India provides 10% of the membership to the AP society.
And I know particularly Puneet is present here. Puneet raised his voice because Puneet has his own style, and very aggressively Puneet mentioned in different fora that this is the percentage and why Indian representation is so less. So it is Puneet has this leadership. So hopefully Puneet will take over in some time in the future.
Yes.
Hey, Puneet, why don't you talk right now?
Right.
You have a voice.
Right.
Chandra has a broken voice that time. due to link?
Chandrakanta, are you back with a better connection? Can you please speak again?
Is it the Bangalore symptom?
Sir, anyway, we'll not maybe
No,
prolong
but
it
you try to conclude. Okay, okay.
The last component, as we do in all our previous webinars, we'll have a virtual photo shoot. So this is an opportunity for you to be a part of the photo with the legend. So I request all of you to turn on your video. Our volunteers will capture the screen. Probably Zoom has option to take multiple photos because 25 people will come in one time. So students, please take care.
So Chinmoy, hopefully you are in a video, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so you take care of this one.
I see many people have not turned on their video till now. Please do that. Yeah. Anindo Ghosh, Gopikar, Diti De, Moifuz Ali, Rafi, Debjyoti Chaudhary.
Interestingly, I am not seeing anyone. I cannot see anyone. And this is the setting problem, probably.
So don't worry, you'll get these things.
Yes, okay.
So please let me know once you are doing.
Yes,
you are
sir.
done.
Yes,
I am
sir,
also
done, sir.
doing, but I want you people to do in a better way.
Yes, sir. Done, sir.
Done?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So on behalf of the entire organizing body, I once again
Thank you all, because I could not talk and could not see everyone. So that is the problem. But hopefully you all will join in MapCon. You are cordially invited to submit your paper and physically present. So see you all over there.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Your talk has been very enlightening and enriching for all these audio, all who has attended today. It will go a long way. Thank you so much for your presence.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jawad.
Thank you, Chinmoy.
Thank you very
Jawad,
much,
sir.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
See, this is a Saturday evening, and we spent 2.5 hours.
Yes.
More than that.
I didn't think of that. The people will be there for in the Saturday evening, 2.5 hours with all of us.
I told you. Thank you.